Very happy evening. Welcome to all. Today is our 17th session on the Ancient Wisdom of Youth series. This is the 17th session, and today we are going to have our first session on the literature, which is with respect to Ramayana as a series. And in this is going to be a four series session. And today we will be listening from Dr. Venkat Barlagaru. He is dearly called as Dr. V. Barla on Valmiki Ramayana. So just though we all know all the August participants, we all know about our dear friend Dr. Venkat Barlagaru here, but just for the awareness of the new participants, I'd like to share his brief profile as an introduction. Dr. Venkat Barlagaru is an alumnus from NIT Warangal and IIM Ahmedabad, DBA from USA. Dr. Venkat Barlagaru has industry experience of about 25 years of industry exposure and academics almost 16 years. He has also been supervising the PhD candidates, roughly about 10 of them, and supervised the MPhil students, almost 25, and researched publications, 35 publications to his credit. Dr. Venkat Barlagaru has got a Lifetime Achievement Award as an Ambassador of Peace in the education sector, UNO affiliate Universal Peace Federation. In his last assignment, Dr. Venkat Barlagaru has been in the industry both India and abroad. In India, he has been as a general manager marketing Balapur Industries Limited, and abroad he has been as a director of marketing Pan African Paper World Bank and IFC projects. In terms of academics, he has been as a director of business school, MCC Chennai. So this is a very brief introduction of Dr. Venkat Barlagaru here, and he has been a very avid speaker and a very friendly person throughout, not only in terms of just only academics but also into the corporate world. And like when we were discussing about various aspects, how do we bring the literature back to the youth so that they will be able to work on their professional development as well as a personal development in their personal lives as well as in their career paths. So that's when we thought that probably Ramayana could be one such kind of a literature to be reviewed in the perspective of the youngsters, for the youth, for them to inspire here. We are not talking here about the regular kind of a scholarly kind of a structure in terms of the shlokas regularly. I'd like to bring this awareness to all the August participants here, that we are not looking at in a very traditional manner. We are looking at in the perspective of the latest youngsters or in the form of the corporate world, and how these things could be relevant. Of course, we would like to have an overview structure, what is happening in terms of the literature. So today, I request Dr. Venkat Barlagaru to highlight and inspire the youths with respect to the Valmiki Ramayana and the lessons what we can learn thereof. Over to you, Dr. Venkat Barlagaru.
Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manohare Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanamam Varanane. Good evening, all the participants, friends, relatives, experts in the field, gurus and gurus of gurus, teachers. A very warm welcome and happy Teachers' Day. I'm happy that on this Teachers' Day, we are starting the teachings of the Mahaguru, Valmiki himself. So it is so auspicious and coincidental. And I would also mention that this is not about the strict recitation of the true Ramayana shlokas and things, as Niranjan Garu mentioned. It is a folklore. It is the way we should communicate with the common man, be it at school or college or in the industry or a housewife or a professional, how she must understand in the common man's language the great literature which was aloof, which was away from the common man, and therefore we feel the horrors and the way going today.
Dr. Venkat Balagaru, your voice is not clear.
We have gone. So our purpose is to bring back the youth into the common man's language through the scriptures, so that the society is clean. That is our mission. And with this, I go on to the Valmiki Ramayana. The Valmiki Ramayana, as we all know, has got 7 khandas: Bal Khanda, Ayodhya Khanda, Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundar Kanda, Yuddha Kanda, and lastly augmented Uttar Kanda. There are 7 kandas, and each kanda has got a wonderful lesson to give us. And before we dwell into these 7 kandas, let us begin with the first shloka that Valmiki recited, Mahamuni Valmiki recited before he began the writing of Valmiki Ramayana. This is the first shloka in Sanskrit also. The Sanskrit took birth with this shloka, as I could read from the literature. So I would be happy to begin with that shloka. And the shloka I am just reciting. Manishada pratistam gama shashwati namaha yat krauchana miduna dekam avadhi kama mohitam. O hunter, may you not get respect for eons, for you killed one unsuspecting crotch from the pair when they were excited, making love with one another. This curse had come out inadvertently in anger when he saw that happening in front of him while taking his bath in Tamasa river. This we are all aware. And now going back to Muni Valmiki, he was not Valmiki to start with. He was Ratnakar. He was called Ratnakara, who was born into a traditional family, but he lost his way sometime in the forest, and a tribal man picks him up. And he grows in the tribal family, and the tribal family was struggling for day-to-day living, except for hunting the animals and hunting these things. They have nothing else. And one day, Ratnakara came home without any catches. So all the house people, all the people in their home have to sleep hungry. So he felt he must do something, and he was wandering, and he found committing thieves, looting people on the way could be a quick solution to the quick solution. We are finding quick solutions in the examination. We are finding quick solutions to get rich very fast. So all that is happening today in an uncontrolled way, unbridled way, it's all happening. So how it has transformed, how Ratnakar was transformed into a Mahamuni called Valmiki is an important incident. A very interesting incident had happened. And he was looting people, he was killing people, taking out their loot and feeding the family and becoming wealthy and so on. One day, a Maharshi came across on him and asked him, why are you doing all this? They had a lot of conversation anyway, but then with that conversation, Narada Mahamuni, who was the Muni who came across, suggested to him that he must get rid of this Papa Parihara he has to do. And for that, he can recite Ramanama, which could help him to get rid of the papas that he did. Because the papas were also shared by his family members who are eating the loot. So Ratnakara felt that why I should commit this sin and also pass on these sins to my family members and forever, for generations together, let me change. So with Naradas Muni's Mahopadesha, the Ratnakara started reciting Rama, Rama, Rama and so on. He could not recite Rama, he started saying Mara, 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 so which many times he does, so it becomes Rama and all that. And he does thousands and thousands and millions of times without any other activity, that the anthills grew around him. Those big anthills are called Valmiki. In Sanskrit, Valmiki means the anthill. That's how the Muni, he became Muni, and then he became Valmiki. So he came out with a premonition about this first shloka, Ma Nishada Pratistam Gama. So this shloka, that's how it has come about, and that's how the Sanskrit and the whole thing came out of his heart inadvertently. Voluntarily it came. That is the greatness of that thing. So this happened in Treta Yuga, which is almost as old as 1 million years in human recounting. In our language, if we recount, it comes to about 1.2 odd million years ago. And Narada Muni recited the whole Ramayana, the story of Rama and Sita, to him, and Valmiki sat down to write the whole on his suggestion, and he started writing. And when he started writing, the first thing that he wrote was Balakanda, Balkanda, Balakanda, Kandaha, Balakandaha. That's how in India, in different parts of the country, we recite this. Balakanda, it relates to the divine birth of Sri Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna, born to King Dasharatha of Ayodhya, destined to fight demons, Sita's Swayamvara and subsequent wedding to Rama. The whole avatar of Rama is meant for establishing the dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever there is deviation from dharma, whenever there is sin, which is accumulated to a level, I come down, dharma samsthapanapa sambhavami yuge yuge. Yuga after yuga, I will be coming to re-establish the dharma. That is how the Ramavatara has taken place, and Ramanama is such a powerful syllable. At the end of it, I think Dilip Garu or Goel Garu, they have given the detailed meaning of this Rama Nama. I will come to that, but then we will, at the end of this, while talking of Rama, I would like to recite Pibare Ramarasam Denane Pibare Ramarasam Pibare Ramarasam Denane Pibare Ramarasam Janana Marana Bhaya Shoka Viduram Sakala Shastra Nigamagamasaram Janana Marana Bhaya Shoka Vidhuram Sakala Shastra Nigamagamasaram Pibare Ramarasam Rasane Pibare Ramarasam. That is the power of Ramarasam, which can clear us of the Janma Marana problem. Now we go on to the share screen. I would request Niranjan Garu to put the PPT on screen.
Okay, sir. Just give me a second.
The title today is Success and Happy Life Through Knowledge Scriptures for Youth. This is the title today, and I am Dr. Barla from Center for Applied Research, Hyderabad, Telangana, presenting this before you. I would be speaking in a common language. You must forgive. A lot of Pandits are here, Ved Pandits are here, who are experts are here, but we would be talking in a common man's language. Sri Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varaname. That is the power of the Rama which we recited already. Now, Maharshi Valmiki, we talked about the greatness and the relevance to the youth today about Maharshi Valmiki is that he was able to achieve transformation from a dacoit to a Maharishi. This was possible through repentance, through acceptance of sins, papas that he does, and development of an inborn zeal to transform himself. All of us have experienced this kind of a phase from our childhood to youth to subsequent stages of our life. If we look at, we would have committed a lot of mistakes. We would have committed a lot of sins. But those who repent before the Lord, they will be forgiven. Even if we go back to the other faiths, you take Bible for example, the Apostle Paul was no less than Ratnakara in his previous appearance. He was doing all kinds of sins. As the greatest authority, all Arshad Vargas were in him to the greatest level. But then awareness came in him. He repented before the God, and later on, God has forgiven him because Lord Jesus came into this world only to forgive the sinners who repent and give them salvation. Similarly, if we look at the Quran, Muhammad Prophet, before he became Muhammad Prophet, he was a great warrior. He was doing all kinds of sins on women and children. He was leading a life of the wretched sins that one does. Then he became the Muhammad Prophet, whom God forgiven and gave him the Quran in the form of the Shruti. So similarly Vedas. So now, if we look at this, the sum and substance of this is that it is important for the youth today to look for that transformation. Listen to the learned people. There is no shame in listening to parents. There is no shame in listening to learned people, gurus, and attaining the transformation which has happened through the whole history of the mankind. And Maharshi Valmiki we are talking today, and this is one of the greatest examples. So that is how the Maharshi had given the lesson to us, and the education that you get, it has to become an inspirational and experiential thing instead of mugging and reproducing in the examination. That is possible only when you clean yourself inside. Like Maharshi Valmiki had cleared himself. This is what your parents like we, uncles like me, parents like Goyal Sahab, parents like Niranjan Sahab, whoever it is. We have Mr. Appal who is here, who studied with me. But the point is, all of us have done something or the other wrong, but we realized, maybe not at the time, but later on we realized and we could. But now the youth today, you don't have time. Like us, we had enough time to spend a number of years to get realization. You don't have time. You guys have to do it now. So it is important to realize that the transformation is important for you to be able to experience the education and get that wisdom out of the knowledge that you are taking from the classes. It has to convert itself into wisdom in you, which is possible only when your inner self is clean, and that is possible by listening to such scriptures. I would welcome all the youth who are here, and also the youth that will be attending in next future sessions. I would heartily welcome all of you to these sessions, because these upadeshas, these recitals that we are doing, will enter into you, and without your knowledge, they will transform you. That has happened to all of us. So that is the utility of this kind of sessions that we are taking forward. And I hope this will serve your purpose. Next slide, please. Yeah, the 7 kandas which we have already seen. We can go to the next. Yeah, the hunters thing we have seen already. We have seen Manishadwala, and we can go to the next. Now in Balakanda is what it is. We have already seen. It relates to the birth of Rama and his brothers, and also the way they have destined to fight the demons, and the Sita Swayamvara, subsequent wedding of Rama. That is how the Balakanda occurs. Can we go to the next? Ayodhya Khanda is all about preparation for coronation of Sri Rama, the intrigue that leads to exile, the regency of Bharata, Bharata's search for Sri Rama, the meeting of the brothers, and Bharata's return to Ayodhya with Sri Rama's sandals, and keeping the sandals on throne. He would, because of the word that he has given to his father and his mother, he would rule in the name of his brother Lord Rama, keeping Lord Rama's chapels on his throne. He never sat on the throne. Great lesson to learn here. How you kill your ego. How you get a lot of opportunity, but in that fit of the moment, can you see the reason? Can you see the logic and decide what you should be doing? Otherwise, in a frenzy of anger, in a frenzy seeing the loot, luxury, if you act, if you undergo temptation, the best lesson that we see from Bharata's thing is that he could resist the temptation of the throne. He was humble. He had love and respect for his brothers. These are the lessons that we learn from great king, Bharata. it is wonderful that we are going through this, and then I've never seen a greater lesson than this. When an opportunity comes, you rationalize it, think about the reason, rhyme and reason, do what you should be doing instead of getting attracted to the quick baits and attractions. In corporate life also, we come across so many times the attractive things. A lot of money is around, a lot of beauty is around. People who are able to resist those temptations have become great men and women in the corporate world. Similarly, in the educational world, in the house arena, wherever that you see, it's really fascinating to see that this particular lesson, that do not undergo temptations. Rationalize what comes across you before you act. So thank you. Next, we go to the next slide. Aranyakanda, forest life of Rama with Sita and Lakshmana. Sri Rama, Sita, Lakshmana met Surpanakha. We know what happened. Kidnapping of Sita by Ravana. Jatayu slain by Ravana, dying on the lap of Sri Rama, and in meeting with Sabari. These are the main events. But in Aranyakanda, if we look at the biggest lesson, the biggest event that I see is Sita Devi crossing the Lakshmana Rekha drawn by Lakshmana himself. Lakshmana draws a line. That's how the name Lakshmana Rekha comes. Today also we talk of Lakshmana Rekha. In the interest of giving alms to the Rishi who came across, the Maya Rishi who came across, she crossed it was not intentional. She crossed the Lakshmana Rekha, and you know what happened. So moral of the story and a lesson for us is that everybody has certain Lakshmana Rekhas in life. You have to listen to these Lakshmana Rekhas from your elders, from your gurus, from your teachers, what to do, what not to do, do's and do nots, as we popularly call today, and we should follow them. In today, what I'm observing as principal of several colleges, what I've observed is there are some youth who would like to follow what is wrong. The Hindu newspaper sometime back wrote a detailed editorial. The title of the editorial was "To do wrong is my right." The whole world is going wrong. Why I should be right? I would dwell in this wrong world, and I will enjoy this life in this wrong world. What is the use of following the truth, following the punyas, following the right path when the whole world is not like that? Why should I be loved? Let me follow the bandwagon and let me do all kinds of things and enjoy life. Let me build wealth. That is how we are seeing all the kinds of crimes on women, crimes of children, corporate crimes, real estate crimes that we are seeing. Why? We are seeing because we do not have fear of God. We do not have the fear of Papa. That's the reason why people do have that. And the world has gone to such a level where the Corona has arrived. God is showing his anger in some form or the other. That is what we are seeing already. And we will get back to the scriptures. We will get back to the divine spirituality and yet lead our normal life so that the spirituality would clean, the lessons from these scriptures would clean, would stop us from committing sins. That is what has happened. So let us not cross our Lakshman Rekhas. This is what the clear message that I wish to give to the younger generation and also the not so younger generation as well, the senior citizens as well. Let us not cross our Lakshmana Rekhas and get into the danger zones. The moment you cross Lakshman Rekhas, you are getting into the danger. Why should we do all that? Let us live within our means. Let us live within our means. Thank you, sir. Next slide. Kishkinda Kanda is all about Kishkinda Kanda. Sri Rama forms strategic alliance and crowned Sugriva as the king of Kishkinda after killing Vali. Sugriva soon forgets his promise and spends his life in luxury and debauchery. He has become a Gaddar. Tara, the aunt of Sugriva, intervenes to prevent an enraged Lakshmana from destroying the Vanara citadel. Southern Search, under the leadership of Angad and Hanuman, learns from a vulture, Sampati, called Sampati, that led their way. These are the happenings. These are the happenings in Kishkinda Kanda, and we have seen how Vali was killed. Vali was killed from behind a tree. Rama hiding behind a tree. Is it a correct for a king like him? Is it a correct way? The explanation given in most of the scriptures and by learned people is that what Rama did was in the interest of dharma. Later in Dwapar Yuga also, Lord Krishna, so many times he deviated from dharma, seemingly, apparently, in establishing the dharma. That is what it is. There are so many other explanations, but the dharma samsthapana is the ultimate purpose. Thank you. Next slide. That's how Sundarakanda was, and Sundarakanda also continues. It's a detailed account of Hanuman's adventures, like crossing the ocean, meeting Sita Devi, giving her the message from Sri Lord Rama and his king, Hanuman's meeting with Ravana face to face, and the burning of Lanka. Now, the most striking thing that comes here is the bhakti of Hanuman. The bhakti or the acquiescence to your gurus, your teachers, will get you everything. If you care your teachers, if you don't care your parents, if you don't care your brothers, if you are on your own, the ultimate result is the ruin. Ruin of yourself and ruin of your kith and kin. The lesson that comes from Lord Hanuman is so powerful, yet he was so humble. He was so humble when he meets Sita Devi. In Sita Devi, after doing his pranams, in Sita Devi, he was seeing Rama only. He was not seeing Sita. My father used to tell me, he was not seeing Sita at all. He was seeing Rama only in Sita. For a moment he could not talk. Later he recovered and then approached her and gave this ring of Rama to her. So the entire Sundarakanda, the bhakti, the discipleness, the humbleness that you should demonstrate before your leaders, gurus, parents, and elders is what we could learn from great God Hanuman ji. The Hanuman Chalisa itself is so powerful, which we come to later. Thank you, sir. Next one. Now we come to Yuddhakanda and the Ramasetu construction. During Ramasetu construction, one example which I always recite in my class is that of a squirrel. So much to learn from this example of the small creature like squirrel, Uduta. Ramasetu was going on, all the Vanaras were getting big rocks, stones, and filling the ocean in order to make the culvert. There was a squirrel which wanted to contribute to this great task. It cannot carry those big rocks. It rounds itself, it takes round itself, it lies down in the sand and comes to the site of Ramasetu and then uncurls itself, thereby the sand falling in that, and she feels that she has contributed to the building of Ramasetu. Look at the bhakti and look at the commitment that the small squirrel has demonstrated. This is a kind of thing that we all have to learn, particularly the youth of today. The task that you have to do, and you have to have a commitment. The hard work, the commitment, the bhakti that you demonstrate, the efforts that you put will get you results. Then the battle between Vanaras and the armies of Rama and Ravana, Ravana was killed. When Ravana was killed, here my father used to tell me one small story which he told me when I was a child, but I still remember. There was a dialogue between Rama and Ravana towards the conclusion of the killing of Ravana by Lord Rama. Ravana asked Rama, "Why are you killing me? What is the reason you are killing me?" Rama did not say that it is because you have brought Sita. He did not say that. It is you, because of your Purva Janmas, in your previous lives, you have so many curses by so many women. So many people have cursed you that you have to die in my hands. Today is the example, today is the event that is happening, but this event is the culmination of all the sins that you have accumulated, all the curses that were put on you by the women who suffered in your hands. So therefore, this death is coming to you. I do not know where this was written, which shloka it was written, but my father used to tell me, which I took it as a truth, and then I always recite this in my classes also. Then Sita completes exile with Rama, and they return to Ayodhya to reign over the ideal state. Sita Devi honors Rama's wish and undergoes Agni Pravesham. Now here the question is, Sita knows she was pure. She was sinless. She knows about it. But she wanted to honor the word of her husband. Today's wives have to learn a lesson that you must honor, of course, the wishes of each other, not only wife to husband and husband to wife. It's both ways. Must honor each other's words. That Sita Devi had shown us, even if it is a Agni Pravesham, she did. And why did Rama ask? Rama also knows he's a god himself. Why did he ask her to? Because he was a people's king. It is for people that he is there, that he is going to be there as a king. What people would think. In order to clean the people's minds, he would create an event like Agni Pravesham, then show to the people that Sita is not burned. Sita has come out pure out of the Agni. Therefore, there was no impurity in anybody. Therefore, Sita could sit on my side on the throne. That is how the Rama Rajya began. This is how the Rama started ruling again. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Now, Uttarakanda was originally, people say it was not a part of the first 5 kandas written by Maharshi Valmiki, but Uttarakanda is a very important thing, which is augmented to be the 7th kanda of Valmiki Ramayana. In this, Rama and Sita would reconcile. Boys, Lava broken it her, Rama departs to his celestial abode. Sita Devi merges herself in the earth. She goes. And she goes back to earth and purpose happiness ascends into the abode. Full of troubles and tribulations, but lived for others and for his world. He was a king, but he wanted to obey the words of his father and his aunt. He just did not say a word. 14 years of Aranyavasa, I will happily do it. And Sita went along with him. If my husband is going to Aranyavasa, why should I be here? She went along. If my brother is suffering there, why should I should go along? Lakshmana. So the affection between the brothers, the respect to the father's word, affection to the husband. These are all the for a number of years and years. There were centuries together discussions on this topic. Ramayana episodes, Ramayana TV serial itself was a great making that we had seen also in our. We were so emotional. We used to leave out everything. Khana bina chhod diya, sab kuch chhod deka. Ramayana TV ke सामने बैठते थे हम लोग. That's the kind of thing that we had undergone. But good, we are revisiting. We are recapitulating all those things and bringing the knowledge back to the youth, people who would not have really seen the Ramayana episodes on the TV serial. So for them, it is a good.
So your voice is breaking continuously. Hello, Dr. Venkat Barlagaru, your voice is breaking continuously. Can you please check your connectivity? Thanks. Hello.
Yeah. Kindly put the next one, please.
Okay, just give me a second. I think there's a brief disconnect we had.
Yeah, what follows is explanation of different khandas and the lessons that we could draw for the youth. Yeah, the one after this can be put on the screen. Yeah, yeah. Now, before going on to this, I would like to recite one more lyric. రాయినైనా కాకపోతిని రామపాదము సోకగా బోయనైనా కాకపోతిని పుణ్యచరితము వ్రాయగా రాయినైనా కాకపోతిని రామపాదము సోకగా బోయనైనా కాకపోతిని పుణ్యచరితము వ్రాయగా. This is in Telugu, but a great lyricist was lamenting, I have not been even a stone to be fortunate to be touched by Rama's feet, that I become a living creature. I have not been even a tribe that I get the chance of writing the beautiful story of Lord Rama. Rama padamu sokaga boyanaina kakapotini punya charitamu rayaga rainaina kakapotini. This is how it goes. Thank you, sir. Next one. Ra means light, Ma means within me. The light within me is the meaning of the word Rama. Rama was born to Dashrath and Kausalya. Dashrath means 10 chariot. Dasha Ratha. Dashrath means 10 chariots. The 10 chariots symbolize the 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action. Beautiful. 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action. Kausalya means skill. Kaushalam, Buddhi Kaushalam. Buddhi Kaushal, that means skill. The skillful rider of 10 chariots can give birth to Ram. Thank you. I think Dilip Garu had sent this wonderful recitation. When the 10 chariots are used skillfully, radiance is born within. That is the meaning of Rama. Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. Next slide. Rama was born in Ayodhya. Ayodhya means a place where no war can happen. When there is no conflict in our mind, then the radiance can dawn. The Ramayana is not just a story which happened long ago. It has a philosophical and spiritual significance, a deep truth within itself. It is a message from the God to the mankind. The whole 7 khandas and its interpretations are the God's message to the mankind. That is how the Quran is a message to the mankind. Bible, Old Testament and New Testament are a message to the mankind directly from the God, which was heard as Shrutis and written as Smritis and given to us as readable documents. Thank you, sir. Next one. It is said that Ramayana is happening in your own body. Your soul is Rama, your mind is Sita, your breathe or life force, prana, Ushvasa Nishvasala, is Hanuman. Your awareness is Lakshmana. Your ego is Ravana. What a wonderful comparison. It is not a poetic comparison. It is truth. A hakikat hai. It is the truth and the lifeline of the mankind which we all should recognize. Excellent, sir. Thank you very much. Next one. When the mind, that is Sita, is stolen by the ego, that is Ravana, then the soul, Rama, gets restless. When the mind is stolen by ego, the soul gets restless. Now the soul, that is Rama, cannot reach the mind, Sita, on its own. It has to take the help of the breath, the prana, Hanuman. We said the Vishwasa Nishwasam of the inhalation and exhalation is Hanuman himself by being in awareness, which is nothing but Lakshmana. With the help of prana and awareness, the mind got reunited with the soul and the ego died and vanished. In reality, Ramayana is an eternal phenomenon happening all the time in our life, in our body, in our society. We only need to recognize and live according to it. Excellent, sir. I'm really fascinated with this explanation. Thank you very much. Now, the reference book which is available is Wisdom from Ramayana on Life and Relationships. This book is important, and I have requested our friends to get a copy of this book, preferably if a soft copy is available. And similarly, several journalists have written. I'm not talking of the writings of the old generations, which are a little difficult to understand, but I'm talking of the common man's language written by several authors, and we should get hold of them and create a library of our own. Thank you, sir. Next one. Now, what are the main lessons that we come across, that we understand going through the Ramayana? Now, leadership by renouncing egoism, getting equanimity, being in harmony, trust and simplicity. That's what Lord Rama has demonstrated. He's a true leader having renounced ego, demonstrated equanimity. He was a people's king. He was loved by his people. That's the reason why he suffered. His life, entire Ramayana, Rama underwent a life of troubles. For whom? For others, for his people. Can you live for others? Can you live for others? That is the message Lord Rama gave. Communication power, clear, complete and courteous communication. Whether it is Lakshmana communicating with Rama and Hanumanji communicating with Lakshmana or with Rama, the communications between Sita and Lakshmana, if we go through it, very, very clear communications and a teamwork. All the one of the Sainya that have built the bridges, that Rama Setu, what can be a better example of a teamwork than building Rama Setu, which is even today there between Rameshwaram and Sri Lanka. What you see is Rama Setu. From that point, the very narrow stripe that was built, it is even ISRO as well as NASA. They have confirmed that Rama Setu was built in Ramayana time. It was built. It was not artificially made. It was laid physically by one of the Sainyas. That was a fantastic example of the teamwork. Today, if we are building factories, if we are running businesses, what is required is teamwork. Our houses have become battlefields. In many cases, the houses are battlefield because there is no teamwork. what we what we learn from Ramayana is the life lesson of teamwork, innovation and motivation, bridge building or motivated encounter, encouraged Sita by Hanuman, burning of Lanka, all these events are innovative things and lot of lagan, lot of motivation. They have done those things. Devotion. Hanumanji demonstrated extreme examples of devotion. Lakshmana demonstrated extreme sense of devotion. Sita demonstrated extreme sense of devotion. Rama himself demonstrated extreme sense of devotion to his father and gurus. Devotion is everywhere in Ramayana. Every word, every sentence that you see is full of devotion, which we forgot, of course. Loyalty, Agni Pravesha. The Agni Pravesha itself is a fantastic example of the devotion and the loyalty that the Sita Devi, Lord Mata Sita Ji, had demonstrated. Thank you, sir. Next one. This slide is not very much visible. I don't know whether it can be enlarged. Niranjan Garu, is it possible to enlarge this slide?
I'll try, sir, because this is on a screen share mode. Let me just see. I'll escape it.
Yes, this is a better one. We can go to the previous one compared to, yeah, first one. Yeah. The prominent characters in Ramayana teach us to make personal sacrifices for the welfare of others. Lakshmana accompanied Lord Rama to the forest for 14 years, although he was not obliged to. He considered his service to Rama as his greatest wealth. He gave up food and sleep during the exile to serve Rama and Sita. Rama's wife Sita is another example of one who left her comforts to assist her husband. Bharat could have taken over the kingdom of Ayodhya, claiming it come to him without asking. However, he has not only relinquished his right to the throne, he performed service austerities to atone for Rama's banishment. He performed service austerities. He did a lot of good activities in order to seek God's forgiveness for the troubles which were caused to Lord Rama. The banishment, the exile that was caused to Lord Rama. He held himself responsible for Rama's exile and served the citizens of Ayodhya in the absence of Rama without taking any facilities for his own enjoyment. What can be a better example than this? It was not his mistake. He was not even aware that it was happening. When he was told, he recognized that it was not to be. Therefore, he took responsibility. He took responsibility and did a lot of punya karyas to undo those things which his mother did. And that's the finest example of a perfect human being, a loyal brother. A loyal brother. Thank you, sir. Next one. Forgiveness. Now, this I will not read, but I will explain. After Ravana was killed by Rama, Hanuman approached under Mother Sita. Hanuman approached Mother Sita to convey the good news. He then asked her permission to kill the various demons that harassed her during her imprisonment in Lanka. Sita refrained Hanuman from doing that. She explained how her suffering was due to her own destiny, and those who perpetuated violence towards her need to be forgiven. And since Ravana was killed, she said, it serves no purpose to attack the demons. She sought the need to avoid unnecessary violence. She told an interesting story, very interesting story to Hanuman to illustrate this forgiveness. Now let me explain. What is written is all small script, but I'll explain. There was a person who was being hunted by a tiger. A tiger was hunting a tribal. He goes, runs, and the tiger was running faster than him. It is almost approaching to catch hold of the man. And suddenly the person strikes at a tree, big tree. He didn't know where to go. He ascends onto the tree because the tiger cannot climb the tree. On the tree, as he goes up into the leaves and things, he finds a bhalukam, a leopard, which normally kills the human beings. He found it, and he was surprised to find the leopard was not doing anything to this man. And after some time, the leopard goes to sleep. And the tiger would ask the tribal man, because the leopard is sleeping, the animal is sleeping, throw it out, throw it down onto the ground so that I can eat the leopard and I will let you go. You can come down the tree and then you can go, because I would have fulfilled more than my hunger. He does not do that. Later on, the leopard wakes up. Now the tiger turned to the bear and said, the man had shown his true colors by his ungrateful act. Hence the tiger argued to bear, he should push the man down, because I wanted to save him. He did not hear my words. Now the tiger is asking the leopard to throw the man down. Leopard did not do that. Leopard said, he is my guest. It is my duty to protect my guest, honor my guest. Aditi Devo Bhava. This is what we have in our scriptures. Acharya Devo Bhava. We have this in our scriptures. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava. All this we have. Here is the example of how an animal had shown, a cruel animal had shown such a beautiful example and saved the seemingly enemy who had come to rescue himself under the shelter. And this is the moral of the story. At the cost of her own self, the animal saved her enemy or her target, but yet. So what can be a better lesson than this? Mother Sita then told Hanuman that we should never abandon our good nature, even in face of provocation. The tiger was provocating the man first. The tiger was provocating the animal later against each other. But the animal did not. Such a beautiful example that we have seen. Thank you very much. Next one. treat all people equally. We never see, unlike many princes of the time, Rama mingled with everyone alike, regardless of the prevalent norms of lower and upper strata. The economic strata were there. Lower strata and upper strata, economic lower strata, economic upper strata was there. But Rama used to mingle. The untouchability issue never touched him. And this helped him strike associations among fishermen, tribal folks as well. This brings us to a very important learning tip. Equality results in loyalty, and loyalty results in success. Stand courageously in the face of great adversity. Following Sita's kidnap, Rama wandered penniless in the forest. Ramayana speaks of vivid details of Rama's sadness in Sita's absence. However, this did not stop him from forging ties with Sugriva and others, even in the face of dilemma when the enemy was unknown. Stand courageously in the face of a great adversity. If you crumple down, whenever there's a trouble, you're gone. Stand for morality, but not engage in judgmental posturing. Well known for his moral code, Lord Rama endeavored to stand forth for the values he projected. But nowhere in Ramayana was he depicted as a blind Puritan who only wanted his code of conduct in place and the rest all be vanished. No, Rama was a person of resolve, a strong will. He chose to suspend judgment all the times. His value systems were different even from his father. Rama had one wife, while many other kings, including his own father, had several wives. Okate Banamu, Okate Mata. That's what Rama had shown. Not only one wife, one word, one arrow. Rama had one wife, while many other kings those days had, including his father, had several wives. A leader who gives away to creativity as an open field to his team is revered more as suspending judgment is still the way to go. A team leader, this English language slightly written in a different way, but let me explain. A team leader has to show his sacrifice, his equanimity, his equality, and his guidance to his team members. Then only, unless he sacrifices his comforts, he will not be able to inculcate similar habits in his subordinates. And consequently, with the sacrifice of all, with the hard work of all, the success comes as a team work. No individual can achieve anything great unless he becomes a people's man, a team person, a team member. Thank you, sir. Next one. Now we continue the values that were taught in Ramayana. Consult subordinates on important matters and allow them to give their opinion freely. What a leadership lesson. When Vibhushana ratted out on Rama, Rama vowed to protect him. He consulted his army chiefs, and many suggested Rama that a demon is not to be trusted, especially when he is the brother of the greatest culprit, Ravana. Instead of chiding and rebuking their ideas, Rama neutralized their incredulity and convinced them in his favor. This brings out a very important lesson as everybody felt heard. He empowered his subordinates, reducing the power of differential between power and an employee can work wonders. Unless you empower your subordinates, unless you give them a patient hearing, they would not feel heard. They would not feel given enough space to express themselves. Only when subordinates express themselves, they would confine to your ideals and their work for you. Very important. Consult subordinates, give them importance, hear them, reward them, award them. Such a beautiful lesson we are seeing. Follow a code of ethics and be ready to sacrifice to follow it. Underpinning the utopic way of life, Rama chose ethical decision-making process in all areas of his life. Many leaders built credibility for the first within sacrifice to resort to unethical means later. A lot of people, we have seen many people, we have no time to take the examples, but we have seen many people who are good in the beginning, but later money corrupts, power corrupts. The generation that fought for the nation's independence degenerated into wheelers and dealers after acquisition of power. The political leaders now continue to speak their glorious ancestral past while seeking votes. Under the surface of that vote appeal, they always seek the hoodwink the multitude of the people in the name of the past sacrifices. Rama never did so. The overconfident Ravana on day one was disturbed by Rama's chivalry, but he was allowed to return safely to his citadel. Unarmed because Rama believed that an unarmed individual must not be attacked. What a beautiful ethical values. Don't attack unarmed people. If you want to fight with somebody, fight on an equal ground. Fight with equals. Thank you, sir. Next one. Awareness asserts authority, authenticity. Yeah, we would not probably go through this entire thing, but suffice to say that when I read all this, what I could recognize is knowledge. No leader can take decision without adequate, authentic information. That's how we have developed the management information system, MIS. MIS is nothing but a decision-making tool. You must be aware of what is happening. And we could really learn this from Lord Rama because he had used all the Varana Sanyas in order to know what is happening. He has mingled with his people to know what is happening. He stood by the principle, what my people would think if I accept Sita. Therefore, he caused her Agni Pravesham. So the awareness of all these ethical practices would make a leader more authentic. People look at him as an authentic leader. It is not that you have money and you have power and you have vote bank that you become a leader. A true leader is the one who lives in the hearts of his subordinates, who lives in the hearts of his people. That comes only when you are authentic, when you are ethical. That's what Lord Rama had demonstrated, and various characters have demonstrated in this great epic. Thank you, sir. Next one. That is how we come to the end of this. Thank you very much, and I'm quite honored. It's my day of great fortune that I've been able to demonstrate my learnings of ABCDs in the scriptural knowledge today. And I would request the learned people who are here, like Goel Saab himself, to come forward and give their opinions. Over to the admin, Mr. Niranjan Garu, kindly take over and conduct the question answer session. It is not a question answer session at all. There's no questions, there are no answers. There are opinion sharings. Kindly take it forward. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Venkat Barlagaru, for that exhaustive presentation, which is there on Ramayana, because by itself it's a epic, voluminous poetry, which is a marvelous Ramayana of ethics, which is talking not only just about philosophy. It's not talking just about spiritual aspects, but it is also talking about the values per se, which we can work in our day-to-day life, within ourselves, within our families, and in our professional dealings. So the floor is open for discussion on your thought processes and your valuable comments, suggestions, your inputs for youth, such that they will be able to imbibe, look into Ramayana once again, not just as a poetry or as a text, but as a value which we can imbibe into ourselves and put it into our daily practice. So I request the August participants here, everybody, to please share their thought processes and your suggestions and inputs. The floor is open for discussion. So may I start with who, Naveen Goyal ji or Shri Dilip ji or Sujata Garu? Please go ahead.
Let's invite Goel Saab. He is the greatest pandit around. So Goel Saab, kindly हमें कुछ बताइए. What is a real thing? Because हम लोग को जो थोड़ा बहुत मालूम है वो हमने कुछ ABCD के रूप में बता दिया. और लेकिन आपका जो लाइफ लॉन्ग मिशन जो है, इतना बढ़िया सुना है हमने, तो हम अभी देखना चाहते हैं आपके मुंह से, सुनना चाहते हैं. Kindly tell us something, Goel Saab.
I think Goel sir is facing a problem with his audio. The audio is not coming in.
Okay, Dilip Garu can take over meanwhile. Dilip Garu, are you?
Yeah. It was as usual, energizing presentation. Lots of new things and a new format coming from Dr. Barla. Usually he's not a PowerPoint. He's straight from the mouth. He doesn't want any corruptors in between, so he doesn't use PPTs. So that was a welcome change. Better for people who are watching you and listening to you, trying to learn something from you. I think a lot has been said about Rama and Sita and the relationship between Rama and Sita, you know. And usually in today's society, we confuse love with marriage. Yeah? Marriage is a thing which comes from the mind. You know, love doesn't come from the mind. Love is a thing of heart. You know, when you transcend the mind, you land into the region of love. So what Rama and Sita had going on between them together was something which emanated from the heart, you know. And like Dr. Barla has said, it was total devotion. So when there is a total surrender, you know, that I believe or I trust whatever Rama is doing for Sita, or from Rama's perspective, what Sita is doing for Rama, their trust is 100%. There is no iota of doubt between. I mean, they don't get the mind in between. So love is not interacting at the ego level. So when the I goes out, love comes in. When I is there, there cannot be any love. There can be marriage, but there cannot be any love, you know. So Rama and Sita epitomizes the feeling of love, you know. So a lot of thing to be learned for today's generation, you know, which changes partners at the drop of a hat. I think they should take a cue from the story of, I mean, the biggest takeaway from the story of Ramayana, you know. And one thing I was a bit confused because when I read about Ramayana, it was said that when Valmiki wrote Ramayana, it was the Ram came later on. The story was written before. I don't know whether this is controversial or is it proven fact or what is it, but maybe the August gathering here can throw some light on that. What came first, whether the story came first or actual Rama was born before Valmiki wrote that, you know. So I think I don't have much to add, but overall excellent presentation. Thank you, Dr. Balla, and over to you, Niranjan.
May I just put in a point? The Ramavatara happened. Yeah, the Dilip Garu raised an important point. When did Ramayana occur, and when was Ramayana written? Ramayana happened. The Ramavatar happened 1 million years ago. But the story was written much later, much later. It will be surprising to in some of the books 1,000 years ago. I don't know the authenticity of that, but even Narada Mahamuni told Ratnakara the whole story. That means what happened before was known to the sage Narada, and Narada met Ratnakara much later. These thousands of years have passed in between, and after hearing from him much later, he became Valmiki, because he had to do that tapas and become Valmiki. After he became Valmiki, the language, Sanskrit language, erupted out of his heart. Then he he sprouted out the first sloka out of his heart. Then he sat down to writing the story which he heard from Narada Mahamuni earlier, and Narada himself knew this much before. That's how the 1 million years thing comes in. So my little knowledge is that the story happened much before the story was written, much late. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I think maybe Dr. Sujata Garu wants to add something. There's a lot of disturbance. Let me mute all, and then whoever wants to please raise your hand. I will unmute. Yeah, Dr. Sujata Garu, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. But I have something to add here.
Please.
When Sita Devi was sent, or she was abandoned from the palace by Rama. She was sent to the forest along with Lakshmana, and she had to live in the forest even when she had, when she had conceived with the twins. She had to live in the forest. To my knowledge, she delivered the children in the hermitage of Valmiki, and the children were taught the story of Rama, and that is how they propagated the story through their songs from one kingdom to another kingdom. And Sri Rama himself was fortunate to hear the story of his own self through the mouth of his children, not knowing their identity. This is the story of the Uttara Kanda of Srimad Ramayana.
Okay, so I think one point I'd like to I understand that there is a lot of curiosity in terms of history, what's come first and rest of the other things. But the core point, one of the core points which we would like to drive is the values and the ethics which this story or the reality of Ramayana is bringing to us for us to take it forward. One thing like Shri Dilip Ji Garu has pointed out is one thing which the youth has to learn today is the long-term relationship, the commitment which we are bringing into a relationship, not just a living relationship for a while and then we forget about it, but the kind of a commitment is one such lovely learnings which we are able to offer it to the youngsters today. That calls for a lot of love and compassion, where it says that oh we and not I, like Like. If I say I and K, I am the king, therefore I like myself. But when I say Love, love, oh we say it's we together become one, and then our mind, body and heart thinks as one. It's a very big takeaway from Ramayana for the young generation today, no doubts about that. Further into Valmiki kind of a Ramayana, I'd like to bring the August audience to think about the values which it has brought. See, it's talking about nature. The entire Valmiki Ramayana is starting from the emotion of an anger. The first very shloka which is coming out is in the emotion of an anger, but then how this entire emotion has been dwelt throughout Ramayana, striking a balance, coming out of that anger, coming out of that curse, but still committed to the action based on dharma. It's a wonderful journey which Ramayana throws a light. It's talking about nature. It's an inclusive kind of a story which is talking about different types of beings. It's talking about as small thing as a squirrel, close to nature, living close to nature. Now, first of all, living close to our own selves, our own selves. Not just say, for example, when I'm saying our own selves, for example, when King Dasharatha has offered the kingdom to Rama, he was very happy to take it. But then when after some time, when Kaikeyi proposes that his son Bharata has to become the king, and then this was communicated to Rama, he said, I will just follow. In fact, Dasharatha told, he told, okay, you put me into the jail. It is a Kshatriya's dharma which is there. You put me into the jail. I'll be there in the jail, and then you be the king, and then you rule. He has offered that kind of an opportunity to Rama. But Rama said, no, I will be the king, but what is happening to my father's word? That kind of an importance is given to a word. Today, we are not having that kind of a faith. Everything has to be in a written document. Everything has to be a written document. We ourselves are not giving a kind of a value to the word what we are speaking, to the word what we are committing. We have lost that over a period of time because of the influence and because of the greed what we are having. We are not self-respecting ourselves anymore. In our business contracts, once a word is given, people strive hard to fulfill that word, because before giving it, they think number of times before giving a word, because word is such a powerful thing. It keeps on traveling outside and it keeps on hits. That is the reason Rama had only one bana, only one arrow. He says one thing, it hits. it hits. Now we have lost that touch. How do we bring back that kind of a glory into our own human being, into our own self? Those are the kind of questions probably we got to ask from Ramayana. Are we able to do such kind of keeping our word and commitment beyond the anything written legal agreements, where our word itself becomes a kind of a commitment to ourselves? So that is another big kind of a takeaway for the youth, which we want to build it across. Are we able to have that kind of a friendship between, say, for example, the kind of a friendship between Sugriva and Rama? Even though he was not able to keep his commitment, he could have easily gone to, for example, Sugriva's brother. What is his name? Can you please tip me his name? I forgot. Vali. He has got an amazing power. Vali has gotten power where he's able to take up the strength of the other person. Now, even Rama knew that he can win taking the side of the Vali, killing Ravana very easily. But he did not. Dharma was still being continued. So those are the lessons which we want to carry and then give it to the youth to build their inner confidence, to build their own inner integrity, the strength which they want to have within themselves, which no education can give. No education can give that kind of a confidence, that kind of a integrity, the strength which is there within oneself can be gained through Ramayana. And a fantastic kind of a philosophy, a deep insights into psychology, into human relationships, which it is talking about at a very deeper sense. So these are the thought processes which probably we should bring out for the youth and give them the essence to put it into practice, give them a platform to put it into practice and help them. So with that, I will request some of the participants to share their thought processes. Thank you. We are on 8:18. Because Ramayana is such an interesting topic, we will give another 15-20 minutes for this discussion, if everybody is okay. Please go ahead, sir. You are on.
No, I was saying Surya Garu or Apal can talk about a bit. 2 minutes.
Can you hear me? Is Apal here?
Can.
Yeah. So I myself, I heard Ramayana many times, but what Venkat said with so much of devotion, the way he sang, the way he brought out, I felt, absolutely, he brought everything to life. So this itself, the way he conveyed it, was so special for me. The way he sang it from his heart, really wonderful. I think he really took it down to the, from the ideals to the 30,000 feet to the student level and what they can practice in their day-to-day session. So as I said, I mean, even though you've done it on a PowerPoint, which you're not very much in favor of, Venkat, brilliant job once again and highly appreciated.
Yeah, thanks, Apal Garu. It's a kind words. Yeah, Surya Garu, would you like to share your thought process, please?
I learned quite a few things, and many good things has come out. But actually, these things we who has already like retired or we have completed on 50-60 years, we are somewhat conversant with. But the younger generation, I think we should associate some younger generation also with this presentation, because whether this is going to pass on to them or not, I'm not sure of that. And as usual, Mr. Venkat has made a good presentation, and everything has come out very well. But other characters also, like we should highlight the good things about them also. Like as I hear, Mr. Ravana, although he was portrayed as a bad character, but he never touched Sita, although Sita was under his captivity. For the glory or to take the revenge of her sister, he sacrificed everything, his kingdom, everything, what he had, he sacrificed. These things are not there today. everybody is concentrating on himself only. So other characters also of the Ramayana, if they have something good or you have something good to learn from there, I think we should highlight those things also, so that everybody gets a unbiased. Maybe we are all biased about Rama,
Agree.
Rama and Sita and all this, but other characters also, they have such certain things good about themselves. So maybe that is my thought. I may be wrong, but that is what I thought, just to highlight that.
You're absolutely right, Singh Saab, that we must look and then learn whatever is best in the character. Ravana
Right.
is a great devotee himself of Lord Shiva to be learned from. Excellent person by himself who is there. But then what can happen to a person in a slight slit of anger, or the Arishad Vargas when they are coming into play, is also an example there. So we can learn good things and how to avoid those things from the example of Ravana as well. It's a really true point, valid point.
Like it is said, हमको पाप से घृणा करना चाहिए, पापी से नहीं.
Correct.
So
in fact, after killing Ravana, Rama has performed a special penance for almost 2 years plus, I think, for having killed such Ravana Brahma.
and I think he sent Lakshman also to learn
Yes,
something
to
from
learn.
Ravana.
Very true.
Right.
Yes,
So it was a good presentation. Well learning.
Yeah.
Well done, Mr. Venkat.
Yes. In fact, another biggest, sir, you are on mute. Dr. Venkat Garu, you are on mute.
Thank you, Surya Saab. It's really nice to hear those words from you. And my brother is there. My brother Om Prakashji Pandey, my classmate, is there. He may speak. And Dantam Chandrasekhar Garu is here. He may speak. Meanwhile, check whether Goyal Sahab is ready.
I think Goyal Sahab has left for some medical.
Yeah, he is left for his medical emergency. He wanted to go medical checkup.
I think his mother-in-law requires some help.
Om Prakashji is there.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, जी.
सर बहुत बढ़िया लगा. एक्चुअली हम तो आजकल ये रामचरितमानस जो है तुलसीदास जी वाला पढ़ रहे हैं. हाँ.
वेरी गुड.
और ये आपका वाल्मीकि रामायण के बारे में आई वॉज वेरी मच इंटरेस्टेड. और आपने इतना बढ़िया उसका जो राम सीता.
ओम प्रकाश जी, आपका कैमरा के सामने कुछ आ रहा है, हाथ वगैरह उंगली के साथ.
अच्छा, अभी भी आ रहा सर.
हाँ, आपका आधा फेस दिख रहा है.
अच्छा, आधा
उंगली है, हाथ निकालिए बस.
हाँ, तो उसमें सर ये जो आपने राम और लक्ष्मण, सीता और हनुमान के बारे में जो बताया, इतना बढ़िया जो है राम, सीता, सोल और ये सब काफी अच्छा रहा सर. और बाकी जो है, जो जैसा कि वो करेक्टर था रावण वाला, डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया, निरंजन गारू ने बताया कुछ, और आपने तो काफी अच्छा बताया है. और उसके बाद जो जो करेक्टर है, एक एक करेक्टर आपका, चाहे बाली का हो, जैसे बाली को जब भगवान ने मारा है तो बाली ने प्रश्न किया भगवान से, भाई आपने हमको क्यों मारा? तो उन्होंने कहा है, इसमें लिखा ये तुलसीदास रामायण में, अनुज बधू भगनी सुत नारी सुन सठ ये कन्या समचारी. कि भाई जो है, ये जो है अनुज बधू, भगनी और पुत्री, ये जो चार हैं, ये मतलब जो है, ये चारों का जो है पुत्री के समान ही है. तो तुम जो है अपने भाई की जो पत्नी को चुरा के लेके आया या जो भी लेके आया, उसी वजह से मैंने तुमको मारा. तो इस तरह की बहुत सी चीजें हैं जो कि न्याय संगत हैं. बहुत कुछ रामायण से सीखने का है. और हम लोग तो खैर अपने दिल में वो सब चीज रखते ही हैं. अब नई पीढ़ी हमें लगता है कि उदासीन है इस सब मामले में, है ना. तो उनको वो उदासीन है, उनको थोड़ा लाना है लाइन पे. थैंक यू सर, बहुत बढ़िया लगा. थैंक यू.
धन्यवाद जी, बहुत धन्यवाद. वेरी गुड.
So sir, we are on 8:25 now. If there are any final comments, we can have it, or I can request before closing Dr. Venkat Barlagaru to render a full devotional song on Rama. Please. one full devotional song on Rama, and we can close with that.
I've already sung 3 songs, so I'm not recollecting any. But then you suggest anything, I can.
భద్రాచలం
Venkat
రాముడి
garu,
పైన ఏదైనా
Venkat garu,
Venkat.
Anta Ramamayam, you can sing.
అంతారామమయం ఈ జగమంతారామమయం అంతారామమయం ఈ జగమంతారామమయం అంతారామమయం. That's all. Thank you very much.
That's very nice, sir. In fact, I'd like to close the comments. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Dr. Venkat Barla garu. And one important thing which was there in the story is on the being on awareness and mindful about the activity without being overtaken by the passions. So we are not being clouded by the passions, but we are present in the now movement with undetached awareness. That's what Tulsidas, so that last story is a wonderful story. Maybe we will share that presentation and you can go through the story. It's a wonderful thing which is there. So thank you for all being present here. Hopefully we will listen more value in our coming Ramayana presentation, which is on Tulsidas Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana, in the coming week. So I request all the participants to bring more and more of youngsters, the youth, so that we'll have that kind of an interaction. The queries which are there in their mind has to be brought out, and we should be able to see how we can address them together, because we are all cross certain age now. We should be able to share our experiences, our thought processes with them. So I request more and more audience to bring the youngsters here, and then let them ask questions, how to learn, how to put it into practice, such kind of things. When they are coming in, probably things will shape out better. So that's the whole effort what we are trying here. So request you all to please be active participants in this. Thank you. So Shubharatri, have a good night and take care of your health.
Good night, everybody. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar.